Welcome to Discussion with the Writer Fred, right here at Black Video News in hot San Antonio, Texas. Well, viewers, 2 weeks ago, the United States Supreme Court, in a very damaging to our women in this country, overturned a 50-year ruling in Roe v. Wade and essentially said that Roe v. Wade, a woman's right, is not protected under the Constitution. And so that's a discussion we need to have here today on this version of Discussion with the Writer Fred, and I have the right person here to discuss that with me. Dr. Sharon Michael Chadwell, she's been with me many, many times. And Dr. Chadwell, Sharon, welcome back.
Welcome
back.
Welcome too.
Okay.
To you as well.
Yeah. So let's get right into the discussion.
Okay.
First of all, we need a clarification. People go around saying, oh, you support abortion, you're pro-abortion. And others will say, no, I'm not pro-abortion, I'm pro-choice. Can you clarify that for our viewers today?
Sure. I had a discussion with my father, who was a Baptist minister, and one of the things he told me was because of free will, we are responsible for our own decisions. And as God has given us the responsibility to make decisions. So even when it's right or wrong, because that we are moral agents, we have to accept whatever decision we make. Hence, we have to accept whatever consequences evolve in those decisions. So now with the government coercion, there is now this straight hold on women on decisions that they need to make, be it whether we see it as right or wrong. And there's a lot of reasons why women may choose to have an abortion outside of just don't want to have a baby. You have those issues to where the question arises, like that 10-year-old girl who got raped.
Yeah.
That's a huge, that is a huge.
That's incredible, isn't it?
Moral issue that now that this family had to face. I think they flew into another state for her to have the abortion.
Oh, well, wait. Why do you consider that a moral issue?
Well, whether you have some families who believe that they can take care of the child. You know, in other words, let her have the baby, but we can take care of the child. So,
but wait a minute. Okay, I understand that, but this 10-year-old psychologically has been damaged by being raped.
I know.
Now you're turning around and saying for 9 months she has to live with this baby, and she's at 10 years old. You're not really old enough to start to register all of this happening.
Agreed.
So
but you
wasn't the question of morality gone when she got raped? So no longer it's a question of morality.
Well, the morality because of the rape, that question is there. But you do have some families on the anti-abortion side of the house saying under no condition is abortion acceptable. So this is where I'm saying that there is a moral issue whether you make the quote-unquote the perception of the right decision or the wrong decision. We still have this 10-year-old little girl who may have to carry a baby because of state laws for 9 months, whether her body is ready or not for that child. Then the other question is you do have women who may have just more children than they can handle. Now that can be an issue to where the father may not be in the home to help take care of the family. There may be issues within her family, but now she has to face the question of whether or not she is able to take care of another child. Then, of course, you have medical circumstances to where I always did say that we have politicians who need to stay in their lane and that they're not doctors, they're not educators, but they're making decisions to where, in this case, a doctor who may be able to help this woman navigate whatever she has to navigate for medical reasons is now being told in some states that she can't have an abortion. Then stillbirth. Some women have been told that they can have abortion, but they're carrying a dead child inside of them.
Wait, explain that again.
You've got now, because of the anti-abortion bills and, that they're putting in states to, you have to just carry this child until you deliver the child. The child is dead, but they're being forced now to carry stillbirths.
Are you serious?
That's a heart attack. That's a heart attack. Yeah, serious.
Is that in Texas also?
If they have anti-abortion rules under no situation, then under no situation that falls within it.
Well, wait a minute. That seems to be a contradiction, because what they're arguing is with the egg and the sperm, you have a life, but it's a life that's alive. So it makes no sense for them to say if that life is no longer alive in her body, she has to carry.
I know.
I'm preaching to
this whole Roe v. Wade issue has a lot of contradictions. My son showed me an article, and I wish I saved it, to where the Jewish community has now yelled foul on Roe v. Wade, in that in a life or death situation, they go to the mother, they yield to the mother. But if there's an anti-abortion rule saying under no conditions, then they're saying that is going against our religious beliefs.
In the Jewish
community. So be ready, because I'm ready to see how they're going to attack. There's going to be some lawsuits.
Oh, yeah,
and it's going to be based on religious belief.
Okay, but your lawsuit, has the Supreme Court already made a decision? So why bring a lawsuit? You're saying on religious grounds?
On religious grounds. Well, this is just me just talking, but you've got 6 Supreme Court justices, in my opinion, who bought in Catholicism, because they're all Catholic. You've got 6 Supreme Court justices who are Catholic, and they're making a decision, and I believe it's on their faith. I don't think they factor in the religious beliefs of other groups.
So all 6
who said
are Catholics, including that one clown up there.
Well, not the 3.
Thomas.
Yeah, well, yeah, not the 3, the 6.
Yes, are all Catholics. So do you feel maybe that this decision is a Catholic Church decision?
I believe that it becomes highly possible that it is. You've got one judge who is supports an extreme Catholic group.
Is that the lady?
Almost kind of like, as we say, you've probably seen my postings on Facebook about handmaid tales type handmaiden. I think she's from a group like that, but under the umbrella of the Catholic Church. So I believe that we're going to see some decisions made based on, in my opinion, that faith, excluding what other people may think.
So this decision is from the Pope.
The Pope, didn't I read somewhere that the Pope even said, hey, no, that's a wrong move.
On the decision? He did that.
I think he did say that.
Well, wasn't the Speaker of the House, she wasn't able to do whatever Catholics do in San Francisco because of her position.
So she went over to Rome.
She went over to Rome to get it done.
And got her communion.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to take a break here.
Okay.
When we come back, I want to talk about the impact on black women on this decision.
Okay.
Discussion with the writer Fred. We'll be right back with Dr. Sharon Michael Chadwell.
You know you missed it. It's back. The all-white martini party, Saturday, August 20th at the Henry's House Convention Center. Masks, wear them if you got them. That means they're optional. Come enjoy another night of fun, music, and dancing. Voted #1 event of the year. Saturday, August 20th at the Henry's House Convention Center in beautiful downtown San Antonio. Now it's time to get your groove back from one night only for the grown and sexy. It's the all-white martini party, the restart. Let go.
Veterans, when you're struggling, soon becomes later. becomes someday, becomes when. Don't wait. Reach out.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Hello, this is Cornell with Frost Bank.
Hi there, this is Terry with Frost.
Good evening, this is Franklin.
This is Robert with Frost.
Hello, this is Rosemary with Frost Bank.
Nothing to do this week? Don't miss another event. Go to blacksinsanantonio.com for our event calendar. The home of the largest business directory in San Antonio with an African American focus. Sign up today for our weekly e-blast and text message alerts. Help us make this a better community. Connect, empower, grow.
Welcome back to Discussions with the Writer Fred right here at Black Video News in very, very hot San Antonio, Texas. Viewers outside of San Antonio, don't come here right now. It is just too hot. It's going to be 100 degrees today, probably 100 degrees all week, and we are all burning up here in San Antonio. But besides that, we love it. So let's get back to our discussion with Dr. Chadwell about abortion. And when we left off, Dr. Chadwell, I said I wanted to talk about the impact of Roe v. Wade decision on black women.
You know, and to the listening audience, I am concerned about the decision on all women, but I am particularly concerned on this decision on black women. So I'm going to throw some stats out here for you.
Okay.
So 1/3 of all abortions, according to the Guttmacher Institute, were obtained by white women.
Okay.
But 37% were by black women, and then less by Latinas, Asians, Pacific Islanders, Native Americans, and women of mixed race. So when you start looking at those stats, and you start looking at it, to me, this whole decision now is about class. It's a class issue.
Okay.
Okay, from what I'm seeing. Many women in minority communities face difficulties accessing quality health care.
Right.
A lot of women in these communities have difficulties getting just the financial means to access these facilities. They're also experiencing racial and ethnic disparities by some doctors, to where among black women, they have one of the highest maternal mortality rate in labor and delivery.
Yes.
Also,
yes.
We're seeing one of the highest mortality rates in labor and delivery with the infant among black women.
Oh, really? With the baby also?
Because again, a lot of these women who are having babies, who don't have the financial means to get the proper prenatal care, the physicians may have some discriminatory biases on what a woman may be experiencing. So a lot of black women, when they go for prenatal care or even in labor and delivery, you have some physicians who have extreme discriminatory biases against black women. Or she can take the pain, she can take the pain, she can take the pain. And Serena Williams came out and discussed her negative experiences during labor and delivery because the doctors would not acknowledge that she was in severe pain.
They wouldn't.
Would not. And this is a strong woman. They probably say, well, you're strong, you exercise a lot. But they discredit the fact that she is saying, I'm really in a lot of pain, and they ignored it.
You know, you bring up something here I want to ask you about. It never, well, it should have occurred to me, but are there actually women who might be able to go all 9 months without doctor care because they don't have?
Right. This is what I'm saying, is that because of this decision where a woman could make a decision as to whether she wanted to keep the baby or not, you've got some women financially are not able to go to a doctor.
Wow.
And then here in Texas, you know that they did not, what's the word I want?
Medicaid?
Expand Medicaid,
right, yes.
according to the Affordable Care Act. So because they did not expand Medicaid according to as part of the Affordable Care Act, now we got women, inner city and rural areas, who won't have access to, especially in what they call health deserts, like in the rural areas, they won't have an obstetrician to go see. They won't have all these services that we will usually see in the city. So a lot of women have a baby, they go through it 9 months
without any medical
because
attention
they don't have insurance.
And
they don't
those
have
idiots up there in Austin did not expand the Medicaid.
Right.
And of course, they're not eligible for Medicare, which is a federal program.
Right.
So, what's gonna happen if a young girl, 13, gets pregnant? She has no Medicaid. She has nothing, and she's only 13. She doesn't really know a lot about probably. I shouldn't assume this, but I'm assuming that some of them don't know about the kind of medical attention they need. What's going to happen to them?
Well, again, you may remember I made the statement that this anti-abortion mandate now that they're trying to make federal, if they can get control of the House and Senate, has really created a class situation. It's going to be the have versus the have-nots.
Well, it's going to be expanded because it's already the
have.
But
what I mean by this in terms of this discussion is that the wealthy will make a decision to where they'll be able to fly their daughters anywhere in the country where abortion is legal.
Right, yes.
Okay? Where the have-nots are going to have these babies. And so for the state of Texas, you have to wonder, is the state prepared for an explosion in birth rates?
And they're not, right?
They're not. Because you have to wonder, okay, so we're not allowing abortion, so is there going to be any type of social services for these women to get what they need? Will there be any type of healthcare facilities to where they can have some type of prenatal care? I think that we have a situation to where the states are not going to be ready for this explosion in of birth rates.
So there are that many abortions that it's going to make a difference if all these young girls and some grown women have to have these babies.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's go back. You didn't quite answer my original question about the word pro-choice or pro-abortion.
Oh, I don't think they're synonymous. I think that pro-choice means I have a choice to make a decision regarding the state of my body, especially if a doctor's involved in it, and the doctor says, we can try this, but you may not survive, then my decision, right or wrong, is, okay, save me, take the baby.
The reason I asked that question is because...
So I don't think that pro-choice necessarily equates to pro-abortion.
I don't either. I'm pro-choice, but I'm not necessarily pro-abortion. But I do believe that women have a right to make a decision about what they do with their bodies. And you got, I don't think, well, you only had one woman in that decision, that six-member juris decision. All five of those other probably couldn't even make a baby. And they're deciding what women should do with their bodies.
You know, we're having this discussion, but I want to steer this discussion a little bit differently.
Okay, go for it.
Men, what do men think about the decision? Because I personally think that this ought to cause men to be more responsible with who they sleep with. If a baby is a result of that connection, that they need to, that the ease of having the abortion is no longer there, so they need to be willing to accept more responsibility. So you're a man, you know, what are men saying? I mean, all we're hearing right now is what the woman can't do.
Let me answer it by what I used to tell my students. 3 o'clock in the morning, you've been drinking, maybe doing a little other stuff, and you start kissing and carrying on. All responsibility is gone.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the history of man and woman, that's an act that we don't stop in the middle of it. So, I mean, maybe I shouldn't do this because she might get pregnant. But I do, many of my students, especially the male students, would argue, and I'd like for you, if you don't mind, respond to this. They said, well, it's as much our baby as it is hers, and that we should have a word, our opinion should count in whether she gets the abortion or not. How would you respond to that?
Well, I agree, but now there is no decision in Texas to be made.
But if there was, do you think a man has as much, do you think two people should sit down and, okay, she says, I want to have it. She says, oh, no, baby, don't. I want to have a son or a daughter, and I'll be there with you. So one of the two's word has to prevail. In that case, whose word should prevail?
I still think that, you know, it's going to fall on the woman.
Absolutely.
It will always fall on the woman. You know, this whole thing is that, you know, the onus is falling on the woman.
Absolutely.
A man could easily join the military.
And disappears.
And disappear. So you don't hear vasectomy as part of the discussion.
No, you don't.
You know, but if that's going to help control the population, and if it is truly reversible, then I think men ought to consider it if they can control themselves.
Okay, but they're not going to do that. That's not macho, you know.
It's not macho, but you know, it's you're putting all of this 100% on the woman.
Yes, definitely.
100% on that 10-year-old. 100% on that 50-year-old woman who thought that she would, you know, had escaped having babies, and she says, "Whoa, wait a minute." You know? So, you know, it's falling on the woman, and I think that's wrong.
Okay, we're going to take a break here. When we come back, I want to talk about what you see as the future going with this new decision. Okay, discussion with the writer Fred. We'll be right back.
2021 is complete. Good or bad, you made it through. The year of many firsts. It will not be easily forgotten. The Black Book Yearbook will help you capsule the year that was 2021. Own your part of history. Get your yearbook today at blacksinsanantonio.com. For the latest news and community activities, visit our companion site, blackvideonews.com, celebrating over 10 years of documenting the community.
My Shiro doesn't always wear a cape, but she always has time for a hug, a smile, for going the extra mile. My Shiro stretches every dollar, puts in long hours, puts others first. But now it's your time, Mom. When you're ready to retire, we want you to be able to enjoy it. It's time to start saving now. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Visit aceyourretirement.org/Shiro.
Welcome back to Discussions with the writer Fred right here at Black Video News with my very special guest and my very special friend who's with me over the last 2-3 years. Many times she's been on the show, Dr. Chadwell. So, your friend in Washington, D.C.
Which friend?
Clarence Thomas.
Oh, gosh. So please correct that.
Is now suggesting maybe they should rule also getting away with contraception. What do you think about that?
I think he's wrong.
Okay.
I think he is 10,000% wrong on that. Because, again, these states are not prepared for what's going to happen. They are not prepared. And if you look at just Texas, they're just slicing away at all kind of things. And I don't see them giving anything. They're just taking away. So contraception, okay, when the contraceptives were developed, only a married woman with the approval of her husband could get it.
Oh, really?
Now, I'm probably pretty certain that in certain establishments, they had access to it. But the original premise behind that was that this would allow the married couple to control, you know, the rate of having children, right?
Yeah. And that was the man's decision.
It was the husband. She had to get permission from the husband to get that pill.
Oh, my gosh.
Then let's look at some extreme situations. If a woman, okay, when Roe v. Wade, and I've been trying to find it, but the rumor is that Jane Doe used the argument of needing having access to an abortion because she feared that a gang of black men would rape her.
I've heard that.
So we've got, this is extreme thought. She probably had contraception, but still you had that extreme thought. But again, we've got these 6 judges who are allowing their religious beliefs to really make decisions versus the logic in making decisions.
You know, you bring up a good subject there. There is an argument in the black community, and I've heard it over and over again, that the whole idea of birth control was to try to control the black population.
Probably was.
You believe that?
I think that we have been experimented on one way or the other.
Do you, this is off the subject a little bit, we'll get back to the subject. Well, they also make the argument that homosexuality is an attempt to control the black population.
Yes.
So you buy into both those arguments? Okay.
Because you don't see it push as hard on other communities more so than the black community.
Well,
I'm not saying that doesn't happen in other communities, but media-wise, you see it impacting, you know, the black community more so.
But according to your statistics, there are more white females having abortions than black females.
Remember, they have the money to get it too.
So, but the point is, how can that be a scheme or plot to control the black population when other races are also getting abortions?
But if I had my chart, I would bring it here, that graphic where you can see the birth rates. So you see the Hispanic birth rate over time going up, okay? The black rate pretty much stays pretty steady across the chart, okay? But the white race, the birth rate is continuously dropping.
Going down.
So at the CPAC meeting a couple of weeks back, right after the decision was made, a U.S. Congresswoman thanked Donald Trump for selecting judges who would turn around Roe v. Wade because that decision has now saved the white race.
But in all fairness to her, she did come back and say that was a slip. You don't have to believe
you know
it, but
what? I don't believe it because I've seen that discussion elsewhere. But the way I look at it with Roe v. Wade, white women, I'm saying a lot of white women will still be able to go across state lines, different countries to have abortion. But we're going to see an increase in Latino birth rates, even more so than it is now. We're going to see an increase of black rates, birth rates. So I'm under the premise that the white race birth rate will never be able to catch up with the black and Latinos.
well, logically, what you're saying then, those folks that think that it's a scheme to control the black population, they should be happy with the Roe v. Wade decision, because now black women are going to have these babies, right?
No, let me make sure I'm hearing you correctly. I think that those 6 over there didn't think about how in the minority population the birth rates will go up.
You don't think they thought about that?
I don't think they thought about anything other than we got to get rid of. We got to get rid of Roe v. Wade.
Yeah.
We got to get rid of Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade was a political marketing part of the political marketing plan for the GOP.
Absolutely, I agree with you on that. Yeah. Well, let's talk about the future. What do you see now with Roe v. Wade overturned? What do you see the future? What's it look like?
You know,
especially for us blacks.
Well, I'm going to talk from the other side of my mouth. I think that for the black community, it may have us rethink our responsibility as a community at large. Maybe this will cause us again in becoming more selective as to who we have children with, versus just going out there and having a hot girl summer, hot guy summer type of relationship. So I think that there's going to be more improvements in selection.
Among young black girls? You think so?
I think between black boys and girls, because once you have that baby, and she can get you into, I'm saying that she can get you in child support court, you're stuck with that woman for at least 18, 22 years or longer.
Yeah.
Well,
I think you're thinking rational, and I wish that was the case, but I just don't see that happening. I hope you're right. I really do.
But I think that also, going back to the Jewish community, and I'm just going to be sitting on my back porch eating popcorn, watching this. I believe that the Jewish community is going to push the envelope on this, saying that you have violated our religious beliefs. Since the Supreme Court is saying, and the MAGA group and everybody says, we got to bring God back into the country. What about this Jewish community as well, where they're saying, and they're huge, and they've got the money to fight it.
They do.
So I think the Jewish community is going to give the Supreme Court some homework to do.
Okay. Well, any closing remarks for our viewers?
This is a tough situation. We're in a tough situation right now. One of the things I have shared with others is that the Roe v. Wade is giving us a snapshot, especially with the 6 still in seats, to where we need to become more aware of any possible ruling that they can easily reverse.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Sharon.
You're welcome.
And I want to say to my viewers, this is one of many, many very important topics that you will be able to tune into here at Discussions with the Writer Fred, because our job is to tell our story, our way.